Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Goldberg reportedly returning for WWE Elimination Chamber. WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg is reportedly returning to the ring this month. Goldberg is set to return to storyline soon and will be wrestling at the WWE Elimination Chamber event in Saudi Arabia, according to Fightful Select. The current plan is for Goldberg to challenge WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns with the title on the line. This match was originally scheduled for WrestleMania 36 in 2020, but Roman Reigns withdrew from the match and took some time off due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He returned to the ring in August 2020 and has been champion since Payback on August 30th of that year. Goldberg previously claimed that he had one more match on his WWE contract, but he's also stated that he signed to WWE through 2023. This new report notes that people believe his contract will be up after the Elimination Chamber match. Goldberg was originally signed for 2 matches per year, but there was some speculation on the deal being modified for 3 matches he worked in 2021. Goldberg has worked a few matches per year since returning to lose to The Undertaker at Super Showdown in 2019. He defeated Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam 2019, defeated then Universal Champion The Fiend Bray Wyatt at Super Showdown 2020, dropped the Universal title to Braun Strowman at WrestleMania 36 in 2020, lost to then WWE Champion Drew McIntyre at the 2021 Royal Rumble, took a loss to then and current WWE Champion Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam 2021, and then defeated Lashley in a no-holds-barred Falls Count Anywhere match at Crown Jewel 2021 this past October. The 55-year-old Goldberg reportedly underwent knee surgery after his October win over Lashley, but then revealed in late December that he needs shoulder surgery. He indicated that he would get the shoulder surgery once he was done in the ring, but there's been no update since then. There's no word on if Goldberg will return to TV to promote the Elimination Chamber match, but he would have to appear this week, next week, or on the February 18 go-home edition of SmackDown if he's going to do an in-person angle with Reigns. Backstage news on WWE possibly doing a big title versus title match. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are reportedly pushing for a big title versus title match at WrestleMania 38. As noted, this week's Raw saw Lesnar name WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns as his WrestleMania 38 opponent. He also warned Bobby Lashley that he will be the WWE Champion by then, making the WrestleMania 38 bout a title versus title main event. This led to Lesnar being added to the WWE title Elimination Chamber on February 19 in Saudi Arabia, along with champion Lashley, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, and Riddle. In an update, there's now a feeling within creative that WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon will make the call to go with a title versus title match between Lesnar and Reigns, which explains why he put Lesnar in the chamber, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. There are people within WWE who are pushing for the title versus title match to happen, including Lesnar and Heyman. There's also a feeling internally that McMahon is leaning in the direction of the title versus title match, which means the originally planned WWE Championship match is off. It was reported at one point that WWE had no WrestleMania opponent in mind for Lashley when they had him win the title at the Royal Rumble last weekend. It was noted that WWE does have a plan for both titles on the road to WrestleMania, and that there are a number of twists and turns to come. We should have a better idea of the top matches after the Elimination Chamber, as things are expected to play out there. If WWE does go with the title versus title match at WrestleMania 38, there's no word yet on if this would be a winner-take-all bout or a title unification match. Keith Lee rumored to sign with AEW soon. Former WWE superstar Keith Lee is rumored to be headed to AEW. As we've noted, Lee officially became a free agent from WWE on Wednesday as his 90-day non-compete clause expired. Now, a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter indicates that Lee may have already decided on his future. It was noted that Lee has been talked about for a spot in AEW, and he may have already agreed a contract. There's no word on if Lee is planning to return to the Indies, but he did like a tweet from Beyond Championship Wrestling this week. The promotion, based out of Melrose, Massachusetts, responded to Lee's tweet on being a free agent and invited him back. Quote, "Come back to Melrose and be the Beyond Championship Wrestling Champion," they wrote. Lee wrestled for Beyond in 2016, 2017, and 2018 and had matches with names like Riddle, Donovan Dijak, aka T-Bar, Josh Briggs, Chris Jericho, Joey Janela, Jeff Cobb, Brian Cage, and others. His final match was a loss to his current fiancée, Mia Yim, at Beyond All Day on May 27, 2018. WWE finds major success with Peacock partnership. WWE has found an increase in viewership with Peacock as the main home of the WWE Network in the United States. The company believes they have outperformed on the streaming platform. WWE President and Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan revealed during yesterday's Q4 2021 earnings call that several WWE events from 2021 saw a significant increase in viewership from what they did in 2019 on the WWE Network. Viewership for Money in the Bank from July 2021 was up 25%, SummerSlam viewership from August was up more than 30%, viewership for Extreme Rules in September was up 20%, viewership from Crown Jewel in October was up 75%, and viewership for Survivor Series in November was up almost 25%. Regarding 2022 events so far, it was noted that WWE Day 1 was one of the highest viewed events in the history of the Peacock platform, and viewership for last Saturday's WWE Royal Rumble was up 45% from the 2020 Rumble. WWE Chief Brand Officer Stephanie McMahon later noted that the Rumble this year was the most active WWE event on the Peacock app so far. Khan touted how WWE has expanded their audience and viewership with the Peacock partnership, and later said WWE feels like they have outperformed on Peacock when it comes to advertising and subscription. Backstage talk on how low WWE morale is right now. WWE morale is said to be at an all-time low for many wrestlers in the company. It was reported after Saturday's WWE Royal Rumble event that morale was low compared to most recent WWE events, mainly due to the constant changes to the men's and women's Rumble matches. In an update, word now is that general WWE morale seems to be at a near decades-long low, if not at an all-time low in the locker room, according to Fightful Select. Since the Rumble, they have reportedly spoken with a number of discouraged and disappointed WWE talents who have been frustrated with the direction of the company. The low morale reportedly ranges from talents who are rarely on television to those who are regularly in the main events, from new names to veteran talents, all experiencing a decrease in locker room morale. One longtime talent reportedly said they feel like nothing matters outside of maybe 4 people. Several other main roster talents pointed to issues with continuity and nobody else being designed to do anything. It was also said that several wrestlers feel like they're without a voice and are reduced to making pleas on social media. One wrestler reportedly said that in the time they've been with WWE, they've never felt less heard, and that their attempts to speak with WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon go unheard and are met with haste or sometimes seemingly so the other way out of spite, based on their recommendations. This is interesting as many former WWE talents have commented on how accessible Vince McMahon was over the years. There is also some frustration of several contradictory decisions made in recent months, which have reversed course to something the talent had already pitched and had denied. The Rumble on Saturday was a major point of frustration, but not the only one. Rumble talents reportedly had issues with how the bouts were produced and the lack of wrestlers not being highlighted to maximize their presence. There were also issues with moments not being created and the lack of capitalizing on a lot of angles that built the match itself. One WWE talent reportedly stated, quote, "If you see a complaint with merit and in good faith about something that lacks sense, logic, or continuity, I almost guaranteed we have complained too. It just never changes anything," end quote. There are also some wrestlers who believe WWE will eventually sell the company. One wrestler who believes a sale will happen said it's the only way they can possibly rationalize some of the decision making. WWE President and Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan recently confirmed that the company has received outside offers, but stressed they are not looking to sell. It should be noted that this new report of morale and frustration within WWE does not reflect the entire locker room, just those wrestlers who spoke and their experiences. Backstage talk on why Vince McMahon was upset with Shane at the Royal Rumble. New details are being revealed on Shane McMahon's behavior on the day of the WWE Royal Rumble this past Saturday. As we've noted, it was reported earlier this week that McMahon was, quote, quietly let go from WWE due to the significant heat that he received for his role as a producer and writer of the men's Royal Rumble match this past Saturday. Shane competed in the match, but was reportedly heavily criticized for how he took charge of the booking and tried to make the match about himself. In an update, multiple people who were at the arena on Saturday noted that McMahon was really self-centered and made things all about himself and his own ideas, according to a report from Wade Keller of PW Torch. It was also said Shane didn't get caught up on what the plans were for the match too. McMahon apparently doesn't keep up with WWE storylines, as it was noted that he didn't know what was happening on TV, which was to build to certain moments in the Rumble. Shane allegedly, quote, pulled the McMahon card with other men's Royal Rumble match producers and wanted things done his way with the idea that he was there to have a big moment in the match. Things reportedly got so bad that there were heated arguments with people who felt like they could push back on Shane's behavior. The situation was described as, quote, chaotic by multiple sources, and McMahon's actions reportedly caused a lot of stress and strife, distracting people from the tasks at hand. It was also said that Shane just went, quote, way overboard with his actions. There was a plan in place for the men's Rumble, but Shane was reportedly pushing back against the WWE producers who were simply trying to follow through on what Vince told them should be done in the match. Shane had interactions during the men's Rumble with Kevin Owens, Raw Tag Team Champion Otis, Riddle, and others, and it was noted that these exchanges were all his own doing, and these are the wrestlers he wanted to be in the ring with, looking good against. While Shane had those interactions that made him look strong, it came time to put someone over, and he was willing to put Brock Lesnar over, the winner. It's been reported that Shane was booked to wrestle at the WWE Elimination Chamber event and WrestleMania 38, and that he was scheduled to be a heel on the Raw brand. An issue related to Shane's Raw creative is reportedly what put him in a bad place with his father. Shane reportedly had issues with what was planned for Raw and with how he was going to be framed, as he was going to be added to the WWE title Elimination Chamber match. Shane reportedly disagreed with Vince's plans for the Elimination Chamber booking and how he wanted to execute those plans. The plans were laid out to Shane, but he didn't like them, so he reportedly pushed back on those plans, and that's where Vince finally had enough, leading him to cancelling all plans of Shane. Regarding the back and forth on Saturday, Dave Meltzer added on Wrestling Observer Radio that Shane had ideas but Vince would veto them, and Lesnar would push for other things. It's been reported that Lesnar, quote, got his way in the men's Rumble, and word now is that Lesnar got a lot to do with what he wanted, while Shane did not. Shane complained to a lot of people and talked down to others, including Jamie Noble. Besides Shane and Noble, it's been reported that other main producers for the men's Rumble were Adam Pearce, Sean Daivari, and Chris Park. Vince brought Shane in to help produce the Rumble for the third year in a row, but it's likely that this will be the end of his Rumble creative work. It was described as, quote, dad doing a favor for his son, despite the fact that Shane's creative ideas have been laughed at behind his back for years, and the fact that some say Shane doesn't have a good wrestling creative mind. It was also noted that it's not clear if Shane has been released from a talent contract or if he was just sent home and removed from all plans, but it's believed among some that Shane will not be involved with WWE for the foreseeable future. So what are your thoughts on today's stories covered in the Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.